Tiger! Oh, crushed it. You imagine being a moron and doing a tiger uppercut and blow your ACL out or something? Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today we're talking freshies, clean fragrances, compliment pullers, fragrances that people love. They are so good that you may just want to get a second bottle if you wear the whole first bottle. These are not panty droppers. That's not a thing. Could you imagine? Spray fragrance on, just panties dropping everywhere. Some of you freaks out there would love that though, wouldn't you? I'm on to you. We got a good mix today. Niche fragrances, designer fragrances, a lot of these really affordable. Some of them newer releases as well. So just kind of covering that whole gamut. Basically, man, if you want to smell really good, I got you covered here. All of these are linked in the description below. Let's just get started with this one from Atelier Cologne, Grand Neroli. Oh, Atelier. This is a house that at one point was decently hyped, but doesn't get talked about quite as much anymore. They have a lot of fragrances that are centered around citrus, different types of citrus, or even things like this, Grand Neroli, that have a citrus aspect to them. But that's not the best part. The citrus isn't the best part, though they do have some really, really nice citrus fragrances. The best part is that a lot of them you can find at discounters for cheap. That's the best part. So this one you can get around like 65 bucks as of this video. So again, it's got Neroli in here. It has citrus, lemon, bergamot. It's got petitgrain, so very green, fresh, clean, citrusy, a little soapy. And it could remind you of fragrances like Neroli Portofino from Tom Ford, which is probably not too much of a surprise because it's got Neroli in the name, and a lot of fragrances that are named something Neroli smell like that other Neroli fragrance. Go figure. Really nice quality for the price point, and I will say that if you're somebody getting started into fragrances and you like citrus a lot, check this house out because they've got something in there for you guaranteed. And they don't make just citrus fragrances or anything like that, but they do have a lot of them. I bring that up because I know a lot of people, when they're just like starting to learn about fragrances, they kind of fall into a lot of times a particular idea of what they want to wear, what they want to go after first, and that's clean stuff, aquatic stuff, citrusy stuff. So Grand Neroli, starting it off strong. That stuff smells great, super classy too. I'm gonna switch it up next and go with Green Lover from Lolita Limpica. Gonna go ahead and just pull these out because I'm gonna be doing some smelling here. I love pretty much everything I'm talking about today, so it's just like, let's go ahead and give those a whiff. So this is one you can pick up for mad cheap from discounters, like 30 bucks or so. Presentation looks pretty good. The bottle has like a little twist to it. Looks really nice. And it's not actually as green as you would think. I gotta bring that up every time I talk about this fragrance because if you don't know about it, you never smelled it, you see the name Green Lover, you see the bottle here and the box potentially, and you think to yourself, oh, it's gonna be super woody, you know, very green, herbaceous probably. No, it ain't that. This may seem a little odd, you know, with the naming convention and everything like that, but it's actually got a good amount of vanilla in here and gin, mint, and orange. So it's got, you know, a decent orange vanilla thing going on, even at times vaguely reminiscent of like a designer version of Ani by Nishane. So it is not what the name would have you believe had you never smelled this. So understand that going in. But it does smell really nice, and compared to 99% of fragrances on the market, this is really different. And as I mentioned before, really cheap, about 30 bucks. So there's a lot to like here. You get something that gives you a different vibe, but is still very wearable, that's really cheap with the great looking presentation, and nobody else has it. So it's kind of like a hidden gem. So Lolita Limpica, Green Lover. You should know about this. You should also know about this, XS by Paco Rabanne, though that's just kind of a personal love of mine. And I will say that probably younger guys out there, this one may not work as well for you. Now, I'm not saying don't smell it, and I'm not saying if you like it and you're younger, don't wear it. Wear it, you'll stand out even more. What I am saying is that when you smell this compared to a lot of the more popular, newer releases, you know, the sweeter stuff out there. This is a different vibe. So you have mint, you have bergamot, you've got juniper in here. It has kind of a metallic feel to it, but very fresh and clean. Rosemary, oak moss, some of the other notes in here. Smells basically like a designer take on Creed's Himalaya, which is way more expensive than this one. And, you know, excess did come first. So this is one of those circumstances, which has happened a few times, where Creed sees a designer fragrance and they're like, ah, that's pretty cool. I'm just gonna do that. Thanks. Let me just go ahead and write up a story real quick about how I came up with this fragrance all on my own. No inspiration from anywhere else. This is all me, baby. It's the Creed way. And let me go ahead and, yep, sign my name right there. I also perfumed it. Ha ha ha. Go F yourself. If you don't know about Creed and ghost perfuming, or ghost perfumery, you can Google it. We won't go any more into that. But yeah, Creed Himalaya, very similar to Excess. And I like Himalaya a lot too, by the way. It smells great. Don't get me wrong, I'm poking fun, but Himalaya rules. So this one is gonna give you, again, soapy, fresh, clean, slightly metallic vibe, some herbs in there, citrus in there, not overly sweet. Very classy, great for a casual fragrance, business fragrance. But if you're looking for something that is more in your face aggressively, that may not be for you. Although if you go pretty heavy with it, it can be aggressive. Let's go something new. Legend Blue from Mont Blanc. I love this stuff, okay? I really, really like the way it smells. Now, I completely understand if you would say, I don't know, man, I smelled Legend Blue, and to me, you know, it's pretty common ground. It's been done. I'm not super hyped about it, but I love this stuff for just a cheap, easygoing fragrance that you can pick up, you know, for a good price, even though it's brand new. And look, the price is just gonna keep dropping on it. And when this thing is like 30, 35 bucks, to me, it's gonna be one of the best spring and summer anytime fragrances that you can get, because this thing is just addictive. It's got some similarities to Legend that came before it, the original Legend, which makes sense because this is essentially like a fresher, maybe you could say more modern take on the OG Legend to an extent. It's got like a little bit of a creaminess to it, a creamy aspect, similar to Parfums de Marly Percival, which makes sense because Percival also smells similar to Fierce. So we just got like a big circle of stuff that's kind of similar to Fierce, but it's not exactly Fierce. That's kind of what's going on, but I love it. I really, 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 really like this one. Like I said, really addictive. I had low expectations for this, frankly, because Legend Red, I'm not a big fan of, but Legend Blue just, yeah, it's one of those ones, man. You just want to wear it. And people love it. Good reaction, super versatile. Like I said, when that hits 30, 35, that's a steal. Let's keep it blue with Sahara Blue. This is from Maresque. It's a beautiful looking bottle. Love that. Maresque is a brand that you can sometimes get at discounters for a really nice price. Depends on the fragrance, but I have seen them go for just really, really compelling price points, at least in my opinion, because they've got a lot of stuff that slaps, a lot of stuff. The presentations look good, the quality is good, the wearability is good. It's just they're not quite as big a name as a lot of other niche houses out there, but this stuff is good. And it's actually a bit similar to Aventus, you know, Aventus, Hasselblad, kind of in that style. It's not the exact same. Like, this is not something where you smell it and you go, oh, this is just completely redundant. No, it's doing its own thing. It's very lively, very fresh, and has a bit of a green herbaceousness to it, but it still is in that overall wheelhouse of an Aventus type scent. So you get a good amount of ginger in here off the top with some pink pepper, lemon, a little bit of apple as well. You've got oak moss as it dries down, and then a little lavender in there, a little coriander in the mid. Keeps it very fresh and gives it that masculine lean. It's really, really versatile. Like I said, the quality is good, compliment factor is good. It's just one of the lesser known niche Aventus type scents, because there are a lot of those, right? There's a Michelob Royal Vintage, there's Hasselblad that I mentioned before. You've got Morning Chest by Wilhelm Parfumery. Honestly, you can just go on and on. There are a lot of them out there. This one flies under the radar, and that can be a good thing because other people don't have it, but this stuff crushes. And at Fragrance Buy, as of this video, it's like $137. So like I said, you can get them for a decent price. Sometimes you can get fragrances from the house for less than that. So this one I think is a little pricier than a lot of the others. This is not pricey though. This is cheap, like mad cheap. This is Aqua de Parfum Cologne Futura. Futura! What was I saying? Futura! Futura! I was trying to say it in a fancier way or something. My brain just didn't want to do it. But like I said, very inexpensive. This is a monster of a bottle. It's very hefty. 180 milliliters. So if you get one this size, you got a pretty good supply. And a bottle that size of this fragrance at Joma Shop as of this video is like 75 bucks. So that's about what it's gonna run you. You may be able to find it even less than that if you look around. And they have other sizes also, like more normal sizes, 50, 100 mil, and those are gonna be less. So in terms of the smell, this one is gonna be another one that's gonna be more appealing, I would say, to guys middle-aged and up, because it does have like a classically masculine feel to it. It comes across super classy, very refined, a little elegant, but a really nice spring and summer daytime fragrance. So you have multiple citruses in here. You have vetiver as it dries down, which I'm a big fan of, but I know some of you out there not about the vetiver. Then you have lavender, sage, pink pepper. That's about it. I mean, the note breakdown, pretty simple here. You know, not a crazy amount going on. It smells similar to, but not the exact same as a couple fragrances that I'll bring up, so you know kind of what wheelhouse this is in, what style this is in. Dior Eau Sauvage, the Eau de Toilette, and Armani Eau Pour Homme, which by the way, if you look up Armani Eau Pour Homme, because that's not a super common fragrance, it's got like black at the bottom, and then it's kind of a bottle like this and a black cap, like an older style fragrance, I think from the early 80s. So it's kind of like those. And some people will say, oh no, those are way too mature smelling. Other people will be like, oh, I like those. And even though this is an eau de cologne, it's actually got okay performance. It's not awful. So something this size will last. It's not like 4711 is what I'm trying to say as far as performance goes. Let's go with a similar coloration once again with Match Point Cologne from Lacoste. And this is another one that kind of flies under the radar and is actually way better than you might expect. Because there are fragrances from time to time that come out and you know, they don't catch any hype really, but then slowly as people try it out, they go like, oh, it's actually pretty good. Why doesn't anybody talk about that? It's kind of one of these. The quality is higher than you would expect from a Lacoste, and it does what Lacoste fragrances do. By that, I mean, it's really good for spring, summer, and it's the type of fragrance that when you smell it, you're like, okay, there's like a little sporty edge to it. You can easily wear this casually or, you know, to work or something like that. But there's also a touch of sophistication to it. Lacoste fragrances don't typically bash you over the head with a huge amount of bubblegummy sweetness, for example. They don't assault you with an overload of ambroxan or anything like that. They keep things pretty well in check typically, and that's what this does. You have citrus in here, lavender, cashmeran, and a bit of rhubarb also, which is a note that actually Lacoste uses from time to time, and it's a note that I like a lot. And to top it all off, this one you can typically find around 30 bucks. So there's a lot to like there. Match Point Cologne, really overlooked, very good stuff. This one is also overlooked. Prolom Water Splash. Comes in a 150 ml size bottle, kind of like the odd fragrance out to an extent in the L'Homme line because it comes in a different bottle shape, bottle style compared to the other ones. And it is similar to Prada L'Homme Low. So if you like Prada L'Homme Low, this is right in that style. It has the iris you would expect from a Prada L'Homme fragrance. It's got that soapy vibe, very clean. Also very fresh, very soapy. It's well done, and when you can pick it up for a good price, it may be one that you'd actually like to pick up over Prolom Low. That added little aquatic touch that this one has, for some people makes it a little more wearable, a little bit nicer overall for a day-to-day fragrance, and I think it smells great. But that's pretty much the whole Prolom line. The whole Prolom line is something that I really like. Unfortunately, Prada apparently doesn't. Now, one thing I do want to bring up with this fragrance is kind of the uncertainty on how easy it is to pick up, at least in the US. It has been, you know, hit or miss. It will be available, then not available, then available, then not available, then available, then not available. So when this video goes live, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to find it at, you know, one of the stores you shop at. Maybe you won't. Maybe in a couple weeks it comes in stock. Maybe it doesn't. That's kind of where it's at right now with a lot of the Prolom fragrances, unfortunately. So be aware of that. I know not that long ago, Joma's shop had it for like 55. And 55 for 150 mils of that stuff? Yeah, that's a steal. All right, we are almost done. A couple more fragrances. The next one is from BDK, and this is Citrus Riviera. Love the bottle. I think it looks really nice. These fragrances, though, from BDK, a lot of times are not talked about quite as much. You know, it's like Gris Charnel basically is the one that steals all the attention for BDK. And this is one that is a little divisive. You know, some people don't love it a whole lot, but I think it's actually really good, and I think it gets overlooked. It has eucalyptus in here, and you have to be aware of that because for some people, when they pick up on that, you know, the little bit of like mentholation, they're not gonna dig it, but I do. It's green, very fresh, got citrus in there, neroli, once again, and you know, citrus and neroli go together so well. You have that eucalyptus that I mentioned, some floral notes also as it dries. It leans masculine, for sure. I mean, it's, you know, presented and sold as a unisex fragrance, but it does have a masculine lean to it, but, you know, for me, that actually works out better. And part of that divisiveness may be because of that, because where it is presented as unisex and BDK has a large contingent of women that purchase their fragrances, really love their fragrances, you know, they're gonna scoop that up and be like, oh, great, you know, that sounds good. Nice, summery fragrance, unisex fragrance, cool. And then they pick it up and they go, I'm not gonna wear this. So, you know, that's where part of it's gonna come in. But I think it's a really wearable scent for me anyway, very versatile. Little woodiness as it dries down, and vaguely reminiscent of Mandarino D'Amalfi from Tom Ford. All right, last but not least is myself. YSL myself, the Eau de Parfum, because we got a new one coming out here pretty soon. Don't know exactly when, but pretty soon. And what can I say, man? If you're looking for what we've been talking about here today, a fresh fragrance that people are gonna love, that you can wear whenever you want, that is exactly that. It was poo-pooed a little bit when it first came out because it's not hyper complex. You know, it keeps things very simple, very chill, clean, white flowers, soft, but with enough projection that it can get you noticed. When I say soft there, I'm not talking about, you know, how much it pushes. I'm talking about when you smell it. You know, it's not aggressive, it's not harsh. It's very rounded, has a little sweetness to it, just super easy to wear. And it's essentially like this decade's CK1 almost. Not in that it smells like CK1, but you know, CK1 was a fragrance that when it came out, it was pretty simple, clean, fresh, easygoing, right? And it was a unisex fragrance, is a unisex fragrance. And this one, even though it's marketed toward men, women could wear it if they wanted to. And it's that same kind of thing as CK1, where it came out and it was like, oh man, just boom, everywhere. Everybody's wearing it, everybody loves it. That's what's going on here. So myself, easy choice. You can wear that literally all day, every day in spring and summer, and you're gonna get a lot of attention. So if that's what you're after, there you go. All right, guys, there we go. There are the fragrances for you in today's video. I wanna thank you all for hanging with me today. Stay safe out there and let me know kind of what you go for when you're looking for just, you know, a fresh, clean, compliment pulling kind of scent. You know, one that has that versatility for spring and summertime. And what do you go for? It doesn't have to be any of these, obviously. It can be something completely different. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Stay safe.